Now, could you tell me a little bit about your platform for running for Secretary of State?
Yes, yes. Well, first of all, we know that the Secretary of State seat is a people serving form of government. It has always been. When you think in terms of Secretary of State, you think of the excitement with the youth going to get their driver's license. You think of all the good things when you're starting a business, the business license. And two, if you choose to sign up as organ donors. And I think the fact that registering or going to get licensed and all of that has dissipated. It's the excitement isn't there anymore. One, because you have to have an appointment, and sometimes individuals can't get in, and when they do get in, they have to drive a distance, and sometimes it's not the excitement like it used to be. It's almost like the government does not serve the people any longer. So some of the things I'd like to take a look at changing on that aspect of it is to for those areas that are DMV deserts or appointments are taking long, maybe look at some feasibility of adding some drive-throughs. Drive through, you can get service, get in, get out, and also maybe some kiosk in the local libraries or grocery stores, or maybe even the colleges or something of that nature for this speed up the process, because that is a part of the complaints that I've received along the campaign trail. And so that's one. And then two, we want to take a look at the budget. We make sure that the $885 million budget is being used to the best ability of the taxpayers' dollars. And I say that meaning to take a look at waste, maybe fraud, to see where we could cut back so we can provide some services to seniors and veterans. That's very important. As you know, we always say seniors and veterans have paid their dues, and we want to make sure that some of the governmental agencies are giving back. And then next, the safety aspect. I'd like to partner with the high school so that we can make sure that we put out some great, safe drivers. That's very important. As I mentioned earlier about the DMV being a family type oriented business, governmental business, and we want to make sure that the parents of the students that are new drivers feel safe, that they've been trained fairly, and the individuals that training them have had the proper training so that when they're out there that they're safe. And also, we do have a problem with the statistics do show that illegal immigrants have been driving, and there is a law passed, but we want to repeal that. And we think that if you are illegal immigrant, then there should be no rights, and that comes from the federal government as well. So we would like to repeal that law and make sure that individuals that are driving are legal. And I think lastly, there was something else I had that those were, um, yeah. And then to take a look at some of the internal controls in terms of how we handle our customers and making sure that they still have the feeling of the people serving business. So that would come in, of course, with the codes of conduct and a lot of governance, leadership, and making sure that the people that are there will be bound by their responsibilities and jurisdictions of their offices. So those are some of the things that I'd like to take a look at.
Uh, Excellent, thank you. So this next question actually kind of goes into a few of those things. Uh, if you could maybe take one or two ideas you have and really take them, how would you improve the Office of the Secretary of State in terms of your campaign um, platform? What are like the customer service? What would you really dig into? How could the Secretary of State help the people needing these services? If you could, a little bit more detailed.
Okay. Okay. So we could take a look. Let's take a look at the seniors and the veterans. Reducing fees would be something we'd like to take a look at. But again, that's why I mentioned we'd have to take a look at our budget and, of course, work with our comptroller to make sure that all the monies are are flowing properly in order to do that. And then to submit these requests, to our legislators to see if we can reduce fees for the seniors. And I think if we go through their line by line items, that we should be able to find some ways that we can maybe channel it in a different direction because as I said earlier, the veterans and the seniors have definitely served their duty, and we'd like to at least compensate in a manner in which the government is still providing service for the people, but yet giving them some benefits that's needed as well. And then the immediate the immediate changes that could take place without legislation or governmental bureaucracy, if you will. Just taking a look at the job responsibilities and make sure that everything is um, being met in terms of time and looking at the productivity and maybe even working closely with the unions if we have to streamline some of the processes and combine some of them just to make sure that everything flows properly. A dedicated service walk in for veterans, a dedicated service walk in for seniors. And again, as I mentioned, the focus on the drive throughs, I think, would really, really benefit, especially for the movers and shakers, if you will, that just need to get in and get out and they don't have to get out of the car, or even the busy moms, because sometimes with their children, it's just inconvenient to get out of the car. So we look at some of that in terms of in the maybe the DMV desert areas. I think that would be helpful.
Thank you. So this next question is about the library system. The incumbent Secretary of State, Alexi Janulis, he actually championed House Bill 2789, which is been known as Public Act 103-0100. And that, a quick synopsis, Illinois libraries would only be eligible for state-funded grants, which are issued by the Secretary of State's office. If they are one, they demonstrate that they adhere to the American Library Association's Library Bill of Rights, indicating reading materials should not be removed or restricted because of partisan or personal disapproval. Or two, issue a statement complying with the policies of the state library, or one, prohibiting the practice of banning books or resources. This was the he's backing. It was an act to stop partisan book banning. It was passed in the Illinois legislature. Now, is this a policy that you would also support?
Well, I think that because a library is a public information system where we want to disseminate all information, but I would say that I would like to take a closer look at that because, um, parents are the ones that take their children into libraries, and of course, the libraries would have a responsibility to make sure that whatever it is that they're offering is available. But again, I think that if we could take a look at the libraries can take a look at working with small business who also provide book service and seeing if we can shift some of the display or shift some of the distribution to private business. It probably would work hand in hand. So that's why I say I would like to take a look at the bill thoroughly because I think we can do a little bit more working with small business book owners, and then we still will have the capability of disseminating information.
Excellent. Now, this next one, you actually kind of answered some of this question, but I wanted to, in fairness, give it to you as I gave it to the person running against you. There have been multiple changes to the DMVs across the state with combining of facilities and making some 24 hours and having a push to online services. Uh, if you could restate, are these changes something that you agree with? And then your why or why not? Which you did answer some of them, but if you really wanted to take and drive that home on that, it's also how would you improve DMV services? Anything else you would do beyond what you had already stated in this interview?
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Thank you for that. As you know, that the online services is something that we will have to deal with. Um, we have our cybersecurity, we have AI, we have to have um, online service because that's just the nature of it. You know, everything is going um, computerized and the new innovations, we want to be prepared for that. I think with our cyber system, yet we have to make sure that our improvements are always up to date and that we have the qualified IT staff that will be prepared at all moments to step in to acknowledge that we do have a problem or everything is working fine. Because online service is only good is when the service is being entered. You know what I mean? There's a saying about what's in the computer is only good with the individual putting it in. So we want to make sure that our cybersecurity system is always updated and available to serve the public. We really have to keep an eye on the cyber system and make sure that and again, I mentioned the updates because it's very important, and that we are always readily available and prepared for the new AI systems that will come. Because it's very important that we protect our customer database. That's you know, the Secretary of State's office handles all of the records for the state of Illinois, and that is very important that we continue to hold the legacy of the state. And so, by making sure that our cyber system, our cybersecurity, is always updated, and we have the correct IT staff that can be there and make sure that everything is working properly for the benefit of the individuals that use online service, but most importantly, to make sure that it's working orderly so that our system is continuing to um, protect our data for future.
Right. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Where can people find out more about your campaign?
Okay, well, I do have a website. It's www.harrisforsos.com. And I'm also on Twitter, and I believe I'm let's see, Facebook, and you can find that as Harris for SOS or D Harris for SOS, the handle sign. Um, and yeah, you can find me there. I'm all over the place. This isn't my first run, so you Google Diane Harris, something usually pops up.
And this last couple minutes, if there was anything that you really wanted to hammer home, any sort of thing, feel free, just the last thoughts that you want to send out to the viewing audience.
Okay, all right. So my experience working with libraries, sitting on the board, and in the community. I've been very involved in the community, and I believe that I'm the most qualified candidate for the seat. So I would ask that you take a look at oh, excuse me, take a look at my website and make sure you um, elect me for your next Secretary of State.